the news you've been hearing the past few minutes is true. Alfred Duncan has officially retired from the Ghana national team. I don't know whether negotiations with the national team or players negotiating or officials talking with him can reverse the decision. But he released a statement via his club Fiorentina, which I'm going to read out to you. He outlines a series of events that has all culminated to this point where we see such a promising talent leaving the Ghana Black Stars. He cites examples of times when he was in form, when he was on top of his game and did not get call-ups. He says some call-ups he was giving were out of convenience, and even with that he had issues which probably the FA did not handle well. We'll read through his full statement on his retirement from the national team, the Ghana Black Stars. Yesterday, after the arrival of Jojo Alokot and Antoine Semenyo, as we reported to you, more players have trooped in, and today they are off to the Cape Coast Sports Stadium, where they will have their very first training session. Camping officially opens today. We'll have a look at the pictures of players who have arrived in the Black Stars camp. As usual, subscribe if you have not. Click on the notification bell to get more updates. So Alfred Duncan officially called times on his future with the Ghana national team. In a lengthy statement released by his club Fiorentina, he reads as follows: Alfred Duncan retires from international football. The time has come to say goodbye to the national team. My heart is sad because I wanted to write a piece of history with the Ghanaian national team, but they never gave me the chance to prove it. When you are never considered and there is nothing you can do to change the situation, mentally it becomes more difficult. I have been humiliated, discriminated against and left aside for years, even though I have tried to keep the doors open all the time. Unfortunately, I cannot continue to feel bad thinking about how I am being treated unfairly, and knowing that I have a clear conscience. Until a few years ago, I was a Ghanaian player with the best performances and with the most appearances in the most prestigious leagues, but I have never been considered in the national team. I recently turned down some invitations because I find it as an insult to call me when it suits someone without considering my feeling as a human being who makes sacrifices in their work. If years ago, when I was a Sassuolo player, I had a psychological trauma about traveling 15 hours to go to Washington for a friendly against Canada and then not play even a minute, and I was the only player not to set foot in the field. It was a very difficult period for me and my family, but thanks to my loved ones and the support of a psychologist, I was able to overcome this too. I went through so many horrible moments precisely because of the national team. I overcame everything by myself and went on my way. I found peace and happiness without thinking of being called up for the national team, with the sole objective of giving the best to those who support me, consider me an important player, and value me. For a player like me, who has done a lot of training and has been playing in Serie A for 11 years, it's incredible to have only 9 caps for the national team. A pure madness that has no justification. I do not accept being called up just because of the federation is pressured by the citizens, and not because they recognize my value and what I can give to the national team. The president of the Ghanaian Federation, Kwesi Appiah from Grant and Sike Akono, know perfectly well what I mean and how they treated me. For the person that I am, I do not deserve everything they put me through. For this reason, I put an end to a story that never began, to have the peace and serenity that I deserve, and to be able to continue working for Fiorentina, the team that I value and respects me for who I am and the passion I put in my daily work. Thank you, he said there. So Alfred Duncan calling time on his international career, citing examples of not being considered. He talks about the fact that he was not valued by the national team. He does not accept a call-up because of pressure from citizens and not because he's going to add value to the national team. We've heard many stories like this, even our own here, the retired players who do so much for the country in terms of football, that is Tony Yeboah. Look at how he's revered by clubs like Frankfurt. They revere him so much. Even Ghanaians here, who Tony Yeboah played so well for in the Black Stars, don't even recognize him as much as Frankfurt, where he played his club football, was recognizing him. Some of the little things we do, we don't value or appreciate our players enough, and Alfred Duncan has become a victim of that even in his playing time. He has not been considered in the Black Stars well enough. He has not been appreciated, and for a player who has been playing at the top level in the Serie A for 11 years to have 9 caps, he's saying that he's calling time on his international career because it was something that was never going to set off. He feels that those in charge, the past coaches he mentioned, did not treat him well. Whether it was because of influences from outside, he did not state that. I don't know what to even say about this. I think it's quite sad, it's quite shocking, this news I got. I honestly did not believe it at first, but this statement here clearly states that Alfred Duncan, because he is undervalued, doesn't feel his place in the Black Stars is something that in the foreseeable future that he would want to be associated with. Alfred Duncan called his time in the international career. He talked about the time he traveled all the way to Canada for friendly and never kicked the ball. He scored and never kicks a ball. It's quite shocking, and it's something we saw coming. The last call up, when they did not come for the match friendlies, we know what happened. We know the reasons. I gave you that reason. He says that he's making peace with the fact that the national team does not consider him, and this is a statement that states that clearly. Alfred Duncan has retired from international football. The Black Stars players are coming in for the African Cup of Nations qualifiers. More players have trooped in and they are all ready to go. Mubarak Wakasu, Osman Bukari. Last night, I brought you that story of Jojo Walcott and Antoine Semenyo also coming in together. More of them will be coming in, and today they will open camp as they will have their very first training session behind closed doors at the Cape Coast Sports Stadium. Ghana will be facing Madagascar on the 1st of June at 7 p.m. GMT. Then 4 days later, they'll travel to Angola to play Central African Republic. Central African Republic don't have a home venue yet, so they will be playing their games in Angola. So all the players are in camp. Jordan Ayew, Andre Ayew, and everyone. The cavalry is in, Abdul Babaraman and Mubarak Wakasu. They are all ready to go. So that has been it for today, talking about the retirement, premature one at that, of Alfred Duncan from the Black Stars. The recent call-ups, we talked about players that probably should not have been called up, and Alfred Duncan possibly could have taken the place of Mubarak Wakasu, but he has now made peace with the fact that the national team do not consider him, and the players arrive in camp. I'll see you guys in the next one. Enjoy your day.